There's 63 different wine regions in Australia, and their boundaries have been defined based on their climate, their geography and their soil types. And so regions that are deemed to have similar quality attributes are defined as one region. Ours is Mount Benson, but we also sit in the broader zone of Limestone Coast. Here we're sitting on top of a limestone base, and what that means is that when it rains, the water can drain away nicely, and that's really good for viticulture. We also have red sandy loam soils, which are quite free draining as well. Some varieties are better suited to other regions than others. Our predominant white variety is Sauvignon Blanc, and our predominant red variety is Shiraz. We also grow Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, Semillon, Pinot Gris, and a few other varieties down here. We're a bit different in the way that we run our vineyard, in that we use biodynamic production techniques. We avoid the use of any harmful chemicals, pesticides or herbicides, so we have to find more natural ways of controlling problems that might happen in the vines. Rather than putting an insecticide out to control our snail population, we have a few ducks and geese that roam around the vineyards and eat the snails. There's also smaller insect pests like earwigs and weevils that can be a problem because they'll eat the early buds, and the chickens help to keep those pests at bay. Biodynamics is basically like treating the farm as a closed system, so as much as possible we try to use what's already on the farm, with the idea that you develop your own natural system. The natural preparations that we put out on our vineyard need to be stirred, and that's a biodynamic tradition, I guess you could say. Here we are mixing up the 500 preparation, which is cow manure basically that's been buried over winter in a cow horn. We apply it at very low rates, but it's very important to get the biodynamic mixing process right. We used to do it by hand. We now have a flow form to do it, and the vortexes that are happening here are part of the biodynamic stirring principles. We're not pushing for high quantities like you might be with another crop or when you're growing a commodity-based crop. So we're really about trying to push for quality, and that's probably one of the things that makes growing grapes unique from growing other crops. Different varieties ripen at different times. So whites we would normally pick late February through to mid-March. Around about the time that whites finish, the reds start to ripen and they're ready to be picked, so we pick the reds right through until early April. Then begins the busy time in the winery. What we take from the whites is the juice, and we ferment just the juice. With reds we pick and we go through the same process of crushing the grapes, but we don't separate them from their skins. We ferment them with their skins, and that's why a red wine appears to be red, because we actually have extracted that colour from the skins during the fermentation. We determine which are the best wines, and those best wines, if they're reds, will probably go to barrel, and if they're whites, they'll make our top blends. We put them together, and then after filtration, we send them off to bottling. We sell a lot direct to customers, which is a good way of selling wine because it's where we get the majority of the return. We have distributors who work for us, so they go to Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and a few of our wines even go overseas to markets such as China, which is really emerging as a big market for us. It's a big job, export, but it is quite rewarding when you get to another country and you see a bottle of your own wine over there.